Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu Lamplight City. Wir sind hier in der Compton Street und wir schauen mal im Notizbuch nach, was wir da machen wollten. Das ist der letzte Punkt hier. Albert Martins Mutter eine Nachricht überbringen. Ob die Gute schon weiß, dass ihr Sohn im Knast ist, das werden wir jetzt herausfinden. Und ob sie weiß, dass er morgen sterben wird.
I'm sorry, I have no time for visitors today.
Ja, das ist schlecht. Vielleicht solltest du sie dir nehmen.
I need to speak with you about Albert Martin.
Albert? Are you with the police?
No, I'm a private investigator.
Oh, I don't think you can help. I'm sorry.
You're Albert Martin's mother, aren't you?
Who are you?
Miles Fordham. I spoke with Albert, and he told me to give you a message. He said to tell you that St. Rock's dog is barking.
Oh, I see.
Aha,
That's good.
ich
That's
nicht.
very good. You better come in, Mr. Fordham. Standing on the street just won't do.
Bitte was? Was ist das für ein Codewort?
Welcome to my
Bude.
home, Mr. Fordham. I am Sabine Martin. I hope you understand that Albert has nothing to do with this awful business. Would you care for some tea?
Well, her tune certainly changed when you gave her that message. I wonder what it meant.
Ja, das
No,
habe ich
thank
mich
you,
auch schon
ma'am.
gefreut.
I won't be staying long.
Okay. Jetzt kann ich also alles hier auf den
A
Kopf
rather
stellen.
unremarkable book collection, I'm sorry to say. That statue, on the other hand, gives me the willies.
Ich kann jetzt hier in der Tat jetzt nicht
Interesting.
rumstöbern.
Those pots look as though they've been wrapped in tobacco leaves. That pattern resembles a flower. Too bad it isn't an Easter lily. It's some old man with a dog standing at the center of a crossroads. If that's meant to have any sort of significance, it's completely lost on me.
Okay, die
For
Statue.
all we know, that rider is some sort of demon. He looks like he's having a good time, at least.
Den Topf gibt's nicht, den Teppich auch nicht.
The Virgin Mary. I must admit, she was the last person I was expecting to see in here.
Ja, geht mir ähnlich.
I'm afraid that room is private, Mr. Fordham. I must respectfully ask you to not go in there.
Of course. My apologies.
Okay, also Sabine, dann reden wir mal mit dir.
I've got a few questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
I'll try to answer them the best I can.
Das würde ich dir raten.
Do you think your son is capable of doing what he stands accused of?
Never. Albert wouldn't harm a fly.
That's what the mothers always say.
Ja.
Why don't you tell me a bit more about him then?
He started working at the university laboratory a few years ago. I was so proud of him. The university is quite selective, you know. The same for its staff as well as its students.
Yes, I've gotten that impression.
I always told Albert to be careful around those high society types, but that one always thinks with his heart first.
Is she sure that's the correct body part?
He's all the family I have, Mr.
Ma-
Fordham.
Okay. Das interessiert mich jetzt richtig.
If you'll indulge my curiosity, what exactly was the meaning of Albert's message?
Saint Rock is the patron saint of dogs, as well as the falsely accused. If he sent the message along with you, it means he trusts you, and that I should too.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Perhaps you were hoping for something more? That's just the way of mysteries, isn't it?
How do you mean?
The thrill of the unknown is always more exciting than the truth. Mystery makes life a little more interesting.
Ja.
True, but if mysteries were really better unsolved, I wouldn't have a job.
Nehme ich doch mal den Tee.
I think I'll take you up on your offer for tea, after all.
All right, Mr. Fordham. You'll have to give me a few minutes to heat up the kettle. I'll be back shortly.
Ja, da habe ich nämlich jetzt die Chance, hinter den Vorhang zu glotzen.
Amazing. Even more voodoo stuff back there. Why would she keep these particular items hidden from view?
Good question.
The tea should be ready in a few minutes, Mr. Fordham. You can help yourself once it's done.
You're very kind, Mrs. Martin.
Okay, aber wir haben ja noch ein paar
I've got a few
Themen.
questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
I'll try to answer them the best I can.
So, wir waren ja noch nicht fertig, ne?
Do you know anything about Madame Laura Dupré?
I never met her in person, but I know plenty about her.
Like what?
Tratsch
Nothing
gossip.
fit for polite conversation, Mr. Fordham. But I can tell you this. Laura Dupre has far more enemies than she lets on.
Does that include you or your son?
It most certainly does not.
Wäre ich mir nicht so sicher, oder?
What do you know about Juliet, Madame Dupre's daughter?
I know Albert was smitten with her, no matter that I told him to be very careful around her kind. Those rich Creole families don't care much for people like us. To them, we're just a help. But from his telling, Juliet sounded to be a decent soul. It's a shame the same can't be said for her kin.
Okay.
What exactly is it you do, Mrs. Martin?
I provide services to the public.
A delightfully vague answer if there ever was one. Give me something a bit more specific, please.
I'm a Mambo Asogwe. That means I'm what you call a voodoo queen. I'd give you a detailed explanation of the responsibilities and duties of the role, but your time would be better spent clearing my son's name.
Okay.
Can you tell me a bit more about your religious practices?
What I can tell you is that the ignorant whites in this city are afraid of us for no reason. Voodoo is not about black magic or dark spells or turning people into the living dead. It's about healing and life. Naturally, there are misguided souls who may try to use it for ill purposes, but I am not one of those.
Sounds like you hit a sore spot. Might be a good idea to stop pressing her on this angle.
Okay, ja. Dann lassen wir das.
About that back room of yours.
I beg your pardon?
I don't know about this, Miles. Is this really a road you want to go down?
Mach's mal.
I had a look behind your curtain. Care to explain what all those things in that back room are?
Mr. Fordham, I was under the impression you could be trusted. Clearly, Albert was wrong about you.
Why are you keeping them out of view? What's their significance?
I don't like people invading my privacy, Mr. Fordham. You're no longer welcome in my home. Please leave.
But without me, your son won't get out of jail. Nobody else thinks he's innocent. Are you really going to put your pride over your son's life?
And now you insult me? You're really something special. I won't say it again. Get out!
Okay, kein Tee,
Clearly
kein
hit a
nix.
nerve there, Fordham.
Rather suspicious, if you ask me. Perhaps her and Mr. Martin's religious practices aren't as innocent as they claim to be.
An interesting notion. Well, I can't deny that the evidence against Mr. Martin is somewhat damning. If his mother was so sure of his innocence, she'd surely have explained what all those things behind the curtain were. I don't think Upton will appreciate being proven wrong. But like Fellows said, facts are facts.
Okay, Verdächtigen notiert. Jetzt geht's aber los. Wir sollen seine Unschuld beweisen und er ist verdächtig. Wie schwer ist denn das jetzt?
I'm glad that Coulson still uses horses. I don't trust the new self-driving cabs. I'm glad that Coulson's...
Okay.
Considering how many
Metzgerei.
eating establishments are in this neighborhood, the butcher picked a fantastic spot to set up shop. I do notice a distinct lack of stray cats in this neighborhood, though. Bon Bon's restaurant. I never got a chance to go there, but I hear their deviled eggs are simply to die for.
Okay, ich muss hier nicht mehr klopfen, gell? Das hat sich erledigt.
Does it really surprise you that she's not answering?
Nein. Okay, wir haben sie jetzt ein bisschen aus der Reserve gelockt, aber damit hat sie sich in der Tat... Ja. Return to Upton and accuse Albert Martin. Hier hat sich leider... Translation-Fehler. Genau, Matze. Eingeschlichen. Mit Juliette, dann reden wir jetzt mit der Juliette an der Uni, da waren wir ja auch noch nicht.
Huh. It's as though we've journeyed to the tropics. I don't know how you can stand to keep that coat on in here.
Ja, aber er hat ihn halt an. Was wollen wir machen? Muster, Gewächshaus. Juliette, Apparat. Reden wir erstmal mit ihr, ne?
Pardon the disturbance, but are you Juliet Montgomery?
I am. And you are?
Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator looking into the events surrounding your mother's attempted murder.
Ah, of course.
Have you got time to answer some questions?
Yes, that shouldn't be a problem.
Do you know anything about the events leading up to your mother's premature interment?
No, it was a complete shock. Mother seemed to be perfectly healthy and full of life. Then, without warning, she was dead. Or so we thought.
I take it you were glad to be wrong?
What a ridiculous question. Of course I was. What sort of heartless beast would celebrate their mother's death?
Oh, I could name a few. Juliet definitely didn't shed any tears over Madame Dupre, though. That much is obvious.
Miss Montgomery, you don't have to lie to me. I'm not going to assume you tried killing your mother just because you weren't upset by her death.
I felt terrible about it. You have to understand, I didn't want her to be dead. I just felt a sense of relief. Please, don't think me a horrible person, Mr. Fordham.
Nee.
It's just that Mother and I aren't currently on the best of terms.
Kann ja mal passieren.
Why don't you and your mother get along?
We've never completely seen eye to eye on anything. She always disapproved of anything I did. When I was younger, she used to forbid me from speaking to the servants. I saw no harm in a kind word or smile, but she warned us that if we were too familiar, they would take liberties. Then when I declared my intentions to pursue academic studies, she really went livid. In her opinion, a university education was tantamount to a chastity belt. What sort of man would want a wife with a head full of useless facts, she'd say.
Personally, I've always found intelligence to be quite attractive.
I assume your mother didn't approve of your involvement with Mr. Martin?
A rather forward question, Mr. Fordham. But you're not mistaken.
Es ist halt forsch,
I'm
ne?
not sure how she managed to find out about Albert and me, but when she did, she nearly had a conniption. As I'm sure you can understand, the situation at home has been less than perfect in the last few months. I'd really rather not dwell on it.
Okay.
You mentioned you were friends with the servants.
Yes, that's right. I didn't care that they worked for us. Everyone needs a friend.
Did your mother ever mistreat them?
Mistreat? No, I wouldn't say so. She was always very stern, though, and quite cold. If they ever shirked their duties or misbehaved, they were punished, of course, but nothing out of the ordinary that I ever saw. Most of the servants are my
Nur
friends,
ausgepeitscht.
but I'm closest with Amelie, the kitchen maid. Mother wasn't too happy about that. Amelie's been around as long as I can remember. She's like the aunt I never had.
Okay. Das mit der Heterizität ist natürlich auch spannend.
What can you tell me about Albert Martin?
I'm not quite sure where to begin.
Why not start by telling me what your relationship with him was?
We met here at the greenhouse. He was working as an assistant, sweeping and cleaning and fetching things for the students. My focus was on academics, naturally. I wasn't too interested in romance. In fact, I've had to turn away nearly every single one of my classmates. But with Albert, I found myself intrigued. I noticed him stealing glances, lingering just a bit too long after bringing over a book or flask, sweeping the same patch of floor near me over and over again. It wasn't too long before I had him bringing me tools and equipment, regularly.
I see.
As I mentioned, Mother was an absolute terror when she found out.
Do you believe Mr. Martin did what he stands accused of?
I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't seem like him, but Albert can be quite passionate. If the police believe he's to blame, then they must have a reason for it. It wasn't any secret that he hated Mother. Perhaps I should have
Das macht
ended
ihn
things
Verdächtiger.
sooner. It was satisfying to know that Mother was displeased, but I never imagined it would lead to something like this.
Well, it's nice to see she's all heart.
Also ich werde das Gefühl nicht los, dass der Albert Martin gar nicht so unschuldig ist, ehrlich gesagt. Aber gut, der Andrew Montgomery, das ist ja auch noch nicht klar, welche Rolle er spielt.
Do you know anything about ethericity, Miss Montgomery?
You surprised me, Mr. Fordham. I had no idea someone of your profession would know or care about something like that.
I've found that it pays to be open-minded.
To answer your question, yes, I am familiar with the theory of ethericity. In fact, it's recently become a focus of my studies. Despite what the newspapers have been reporting, it's already possible to access it in small quantities from the air around us.
Have you conducted any experiments?
No, my research has been purely theoretical. I don't have the means to do anything practical, I'm afraid.
Deceiver, dissembler, her trousers are alight. I can't understand why Juliet might not want to make her research public, though.
Miss Montgomery, please don't lie to me. I know you've been conducting experiments with ethericity. I've seen the room you're renting on Forest Lane.
What? But how?
Tja.
I found a spare key in your room, enclosed in a letter from your landlady.
You went through my room? Through my private things? How dare you?
It's Part of my job, Miss Montgomery. Now tell me about your experiments.
No, Mr. Fordham, I don't think I will. You had no right to go through my private documents. And I'm not legally obligated to tell you anything. So kindly drop the subject before I decide to press charges against you for unlawful entry.
Ooh, touchy, isn't she? Although, it's generally not a good idea to tell people you went through their things.
Ja, ich nehme mal Abstand davon. Ja, ist gut.
So, you study botany. Fascinating subject.
Are you an admirer of plants, Mr. Fordham?
My wife has the green thumb in the household, but I do have a certain appreciation
Bisschen
for them.
Smalltalk macht das wieder
Plants
gut.
are amazing things. Just like people in many ways.
How do you mean?
They need attention and care. Ignore a plant, and it will wither. Give it too much attention, and it will become sick. Plants have many things to teach us, and I greatly enjoy learning from them.
Okay.
These plants are impressive. Are they yours?
Yes, I've developed a method to make them extra healthy and strong.
They're larger than anything I've ever seen. How do you do it?
Ah, but I can't reveal my secrets, Mr. Fordham. The world will hear about my discovery soon enough.
Incidentally, do you know anything about Easter lilies?
No, I don't keep or grow those here.
Gut, dann wollen wir nochmal gucken, was du über deinen Bruder zu sagen
What
hast.
can you tell me about your brother?
Andrew, Mama's precious little boy. If you've met him, you pretty much know all you need to. He's had the whole world handed to him on a silver platter. But he's in for a rude awakening someday. Mother can only provide for him for so long.
No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind, I have work to do.
Ja. Okay, also natürlich, wenn man denen die Wahrheit sagt und erklärt, wie man an seine Fakten gekommen ist, dann macht man sich hier nicht sehr sympathisch. Das ist jetzt schon klar.
Judging from that pipe, that contraption must be used to keep the plants hydrated. But it looks like a giant earwax remover to me.
Und Schmalzentferner, na danke.
I've never seen a flower grow that big. What do you suppose they're feeding them?
Bonsai-Baum?
One of those cute little Japanese trees that are all the rage these days. Personally, I don't see how giving a tree a haircut is meant to be relaxing.
Alles klar. Es gibt hier nichts Neues, oder? Was sind das für
Those
Muster
flowers are
jetzt?
definitely not native to this area. They seem to be thriving in their glass tubes, though.
Okay, also. Mir fehlt immer noch das Stimulanz. Und jetzt gehen wir mal zurück zur Abten. Die sitzt ja immer noch. Ach, gucke, hier hinten. Brauche ich gar nicht mehr hin, das hat sich erledigt. Ich komme nicht mehr in die Bude, okay. Gehen wir ins Café, wenn sie noch da ist. Ja. Mal gucken, was sie mir helfen kann.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
Bitte abschließen, das kann jetzt
I
sein.
wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
I seem to have hit a roadblock. There's an officer posted at Dupre's family tomb, and he won't let me in.
Makes sense. Who's the officer?
I've never seen him before. He's young, has a small scar over his left eye, and a distinct Dixie accent.
Ah, yes, that would be Officer Grant. He's only been with the department for about 2 months. I don't know a lot about him, but he's already got the reputation for being the type of policeman who'd go out of his way to help old ladies cross the street. Typical Southern gentleman, it seems. Perhaps you can use that to your advantage?
Okay. Und nochmal der Andrew.
Madame Dupre's son isn't being very helpful.
Is he refusing to talk?
More like incapable. The family doctor has him pretty well drugged to the gills. I need to find some way to perk him up.
Well, you know, we are in a coffee house.
I have a feeling it will take something a touch more powerful than coffee. That's enough about the case for now.
Okay.
That's it, I think.
Then you'd better get back to it.
Nicht der Überzeugung, dass ich den Fall abschließen sollte. Weil wir haben niemanden bis auf den Albert Martin verdächtigt. Also, will ihn noch nicht beschuldigen, ganz ehrlich. Reden wir nochmal mit dem Officer. So, der ist hier hinten.
Good day to you, officer.
Afraid I ain't got time for idle chat, sir. Please, move along.
Ja, ich habe aber keine Möglichkeit, hier irgendwas zu tun, oder?
This just goes to show you can't take it with you, so you might as well spend it all on a giant tomb. Nice view of the river from up here. You can hardly even see the cloud of smog over the chum.
Ich kann nicht mit ihm reden. Einen Weg finden, den Officer abzulenken. Das Stimulanz fehlt mir immer noch. Grabmal komme ich irgendwie auch nicht dran.
Looks like people have left markings and offerings in front of this tomb. You may think it's a silly superstition, but I wish you'd leave a bottle of Bollingworth at my grave every now and then.
Tja, im Inventar habe ich ja nichts, weil ich habe kein Inventar. Hier ist aber gar nichts. Also irgendwas fehlt mir, um da weiterzukommen. Ich gehe nochmal nach Hause und rede mit meiner Frau.
Hey, Addie. Here I am.
Seeing you come home always puts a smile on my face. So what's this big case Upton's got you on? Another missing pet?
If only. A Gascon Grand Dame was attacked and almost interred alive.
You mean Madame Dupre? The one whose obituary was in the paper?
The very
Yeah.
same.
Goodness, that does sound serious. Tell me if there's anything I can do to help. I know you haven't been feeling your best lately.
You're always a help to me, Addie. Though I assure you I have this well in hand.
I certainly hope so.
Okay. Ist hier jetzt nochmal irgendwas Neues? Tasche?
Bollingworth Ale, my favorite! And a nice souvenir from the Angel. You really ought to go back there
Ja.
someday.
Hier gibt's aber nichts Neues mehr. Eine neue Zeitung? Nee, ne? Nein. Nein, okay, also. Mit dir reden macht keinen Sinn mehr,
Addie?
oder?
Yes, dear?
Ah, doch, gucke.
I was wondering if you could do me a favor.
What is it?
There's an officer posted in front of Madame Dupre's family tomb, and I need to get a look inside. Could you use your wiles and charm to distract him?
My wiles and charm,
Well, you are irresistible, darling. I'm sure he wouldn't turn away a lady in need. Say you've gotten lost in the cemetery and ask him to show you the way out.
Should we really be tricking a police officer like that?
There's no harm in it, and I won't be but a moment inside. It's in a good cause.
All right, let's go then.
Na, also.
Excuse me, officer. I was wondering if you could help me?
What do you want?
I seem to have gotten all turned around. Do you have any idea how to get to the front gate?
My suggestion would be to turn around and head back the way
Ja,
you came.
super.
Yes, I've tried that, but I seem to just be going in circles. Perhaps you could point me in the right direction?
Stop right there. That's quite enough from you.
I beg your pardon?
Don't think I can't tell what your game is. You're trying to lure me away from here and into some alley where your gang of Sambos is gonna rob me blind. Exactly how many of them have you got lying in wait for poor unsuspecting fools you bring them?
Just one. And he doesn't appreciate you talking to his wife that way.
You know, Miles, sometimes I forget how absolutely delightful it is to watch you lose your head.
Miles, was that really necessary?
I'm sorry, Addie. You know how I get with people whose minds are full of that rubbish.
Let's just get him out of sight before this lands both of us in jail. That bush over there should work.
Ja, die ist aber auch mit allen
I have to
Wassern
say, I
gewaschen.
wasn't expecting assaulting a policeman to be on today's activity list.
It'll be fine. When you're on the force as long as I was, you can pretty much get away with murder.
Although I think you may have already used up that privilege.
Well, it's been fun, but I need to take my wiles and charm over to my appointment with Mrs. Lefebvre. I'll see you at home later, dear. Try to stay out of trouble.
Ja, werden wir machen. Aber jetzt können wir endlich in diese Gruft rein. Ein Nest?
That nest is full of eggs. But where's the mother bird?
Perhaps she abandoned it.
Always assuming the worst, aren't you, Miles?
Engelskulptur?
What a dramatic statue. I'm rather surprised no one has defaced it. These crypts are reserved for future generations of Chestertons to rot in.
There are only 3 left.
Then let's hope the Chestertons aren't opposed to spending eternity cozied up to one another.
Grabnische, Grabnische, Grabnische öffnen. Okay. Weiß nicht, ob ich das sehen will.
This must be what was going to be Madame Dupre's final resting place.
I don't see anything inside.
What, were you expecting a note from her attacker?
No, but I was hoping for some kind of clue at the very least. Dale Chesterton, 1795 to 1843. A good man. Rest in peace. Sarah Chesterton, 1784 to 1812. I told you I was sick. Jane Scott Chesterton, 1746 to 1815. Ab Eterno.
Okay.
Desmond Chesterton, 1745 to 1810. Strong in life, stronger in death. John Patrick Chesterton, 1740 to 1825. Patriarch, leader, family man. Celine, 1823 to 1844. Taken too soon, rest ye with the angels. William Arthur Chesterton, 1770 to 1837. Gone but never forgotten. Douglas Chesterton, 1791 to 1840. Good riddance.
These crypts are reserved for future generations of Chestertons to rot in.
There are only 3 left.
Gut, das
Then
hat man
let's hope the
gerade.
Chestertons aren't opposed to spending eternity cozied up to one another.
Das bringt mich jetzt aber auch nicht weiter. Oberlicht?
I suppose the whole heaven shining down upon the tomb motif is good for the dead people's self-esteem.
Tja. Da war nichts drin. Also das bringt mich jetzt hier nicht richtig weiter. Ich habe jetzt irgendwie mehr erhofft. Grabmal der Chestertons untersuchen. Also ich bin wohl noch nicht so richtig durch damit. Tja, aber mehr gibt es hier doch jetzt direkt nicht.
What a dramatic statue. I'm rather surprised no one has defaced it.
Nee, also da gehe ich jetzt noch mal raus. Da bin ich irgendwie jetzt noch nicht ganz hintergekommen.
This just goes to show you can't take it with you, so you might as well spend it all on a giant tomb.
Gut, also den Punkt habe ich irgendwie nicht so richtig abgearbeitet bekommen. Das Stimulanz haben wir auch noch nicht. Jetzt ist echt die Frage, wer ist jetzt hier irgendwie noch willig und macht noch mit?
Could I ask you some more questions, Mr. Martin?
It's not like I'm going anywhere.
Albert, did you hate Madame Dupre?
The woman is cruel, sadistic, and bigoted. When she found out about my relationship with Juliet, she sent me a letter threatening to have me killed if I got near her house or her daughter. So yes, Mr. Fordham, I hated her. But even so, I love her daughter. I wouldn't be so cruel as to take Juliet's mother away from her, even if she hated her too.
I beg your pardon?
Juliet and her mother didn't get along at all. I never asked why, but it was obvious there was something going on.
Intriguing.
Aha.
That's all for now.
So, dann schauen wir doch nochmal, was wir für einen Hinweis jetzt haben. Ursache des Konflikts von Juliet und ihrer Mutter finden. Wir gehen nochmal zurück zu Juliet. Die kann mir noch eher helfen als die Mutter. Die redet ja nicht mit mir.
She's busy. That's not to bother her until we have something to ask her.
Dann vielleicht der Sohnemann.
This quack hasn't got anything more for us to learn right now.
Ja, okay. Wir können ja mit der Küchenhilfe nochmal reden. Die war ja auch im Prinzip nochmal Diskussion gewesen.
As amusing as it is to chat with this oddball, I think we've...
Alles klar. Und du? Irgendwer muss mir was sagen können.
I told you I'm very busy, and I'll get in trouble if I'm caught speaking to you.
Amelie, please. I need to know what you know about Madame Dupre.
What? How did you know my name?
Hahaha.
Juliet told me about you.
Miss Juliet?
Yes, I spoke to her at the university. She mentioned you two were friends.
Yes, that's right. She's always been so good to me.
Look, Amelie, I'm just trying to get some information. And I have a feeling you can be very helpful if you just let me talk to you.
All right, fine. But do it as fast as you can.
Okay.
Tell me about Madame Dupre.
Oh, I really shouldn't, sir.
It would greatly help my investigation if you did.
Madame Dupre was kind enough to hire me as her cook. It's hard to get jobs in the city. Lots of people want their servants to use those new machines. My sister's brother-in-law got half his leg blown off by one of those new ovens. He's lucky he wasn't killed. So I'm plenty happy working here doing real people's work. But Madam can be difficult sometimes.
Difficult? What do you mean by that?
No, I said enough.
Oha. Da ist doch irgendwas im Busch auch.
What do you know about Madame Dupre's supposed death?
All I can tell you is that whoever did it really hated her.
Do you know Albert Martin, the man accused of the crime?
No, I'm sorry.
Wie du? Du bist die Freundin von Martins Freundin und kennst ihn gar nicht, okay?
What can you tell me about Andrew?
He ain't so bad. Kinda spoiled, but he mostly cleans up after himself. Has a whole private part of the house, but I think he only uses one room. Better for me, way less to clean.
Okay.
What do you know about Juliet?
She was always so kind to me and the others, but her mother don't like that one bit. Still, she sneaks down into the kitchen to keep me company some nights. Even though she's a good soul, I think part of her does it just to spite her mother.
Okay.
Are you the only remaining servant here?
No, there's another one, Marcel. He's the new gardener. I haven't seen him in a few days, though. Not since before Madam's incident.
Thank you, Amelie. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Now please, let me get back to work.
Jo. Aber der neue Gärtner und wir haben nichts ins Notizbuch bekommen. Okay. So, also ihr seht, was noch die verbleibenden Aufgaben sind. Das mit dem Grabmal, das hat jetzt irgendwie noch nicht so richtig funktioniert. Die Bewohner sind wir auch noch am Befragen. Die Punkte sind also beide noch nicht verschwunden. Da fehlt mir noch irgendwas. Das Stimulanz habe ich noch nicht. Ja, ich kann den Albert beschuldigen, aber ich weiß nicht, sollte ich das tun? Wie seht ihr die Sache? Schreibt mir es doch mal. Und hier müssen wir auch noch weitermachen. Also ich könnte vielleicht den Fall irgendwie beenden, indem ich jetzt sage, Albert ist schuld und dann wird er morgen getötet, dann war es das, dann, ja, kommt vielleicht das nächste Verbrechen auf meinen Tisch oder wir können probieren, der Sache noch ordentlich auf den Grund zu gehen. Sagt mir doch einfach mal, wie wir es halten sollen. Gut, also, ich bin gespannt, was ihr schreibt, was ich mal ausprobieren soll und wir sehen uns dann beim nächsten Mal. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen, euer Matze.